I mean, look at this. AI of Star Wars. I mean, again, more AI stuff. I mean, I guess it's somewhat cool. I mean, it's AI. I'm gonna head out. Just maybe AI is not that bad. I mean, hear me out. Let's give it a chance. Maybe AI can do some good. Let's give it a chance. What's cracking, my rock and rollers? Today we're going to be discussing a topic that I've been thinking about for a while, and that is how creative people don't need Hollywood to bring their visions or creative works to life anymore. That may seem like a big statement that, that can't happen, but I honestly think we're at that point now. I was originally going to make two separate videos, one talking about how AI is going to be not necessarily the future, but it's going to help, other creative people with their works that don't want to go through the traditional Hollywood route. And I was going to make another video talking about how YouTube, this trend of YouTubers, smaller creators creating feature films like Chris Stuckman, Markiplier, how that's going to be the future of entertainment. The topics kind of go hand in hand, so I decided, hey, why not combine them into one video? So here we go. The first point I want to make is how YouTubers are just, any other, creative people in any other creative industry, comics, all that. They don't need the big, I'll just use Hollywood as an example. They don't need Hollywood to help them anymore. It used to be you had an idea, you had to write a script, you had to go to Hollywood, you had to be in actual Hollywood, Los Angeles. You had to find someone who liked the script, buy it, bring it to a studio, and all this blah blah. And hopefully, after all that, a studio likes it enough to buy it, and hopefully it got made. Nowadays, that's not the case. That doesn't need to happen anymore. There's been countless examples as to why. In recent years, we've seen multiple examples to prove this point, mainly with YouTubers and film. Recently, we just had Markiplier release Iron Lung in theaters, which he self-funded entirely himself, and currently, at this video's recording, it's sitting at 47 million worldwide, which is awesome. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. He deserves every penny of that. Shortly before that, we had Chris Stuckman, one of the OG movie reviewers of YouTube, make his first feature debut film, Shelby Oaks, which he funded entirely through Kickstarter, which is, I think it was the highest horror movie funded through Kickstarter, which getting a movie funded through Kickstarter is just, that is mind-boggling to me. That's incredible. Good for him. And before Stuckman, the two main ones I can think of were the I'm gonna butcher these names, the Philippou brothers. I hope I pronounced it right. I'm sorry if I didn't, but they're the guys behind that old YouTube channel Raka Raka. Those crazy unhinged Ronald McDonald videos back in the day, which I loved. They directed actually two movies. They did Talk to Me, their first one, which became a monster hit, and then they recently just did Bring Her Back, which was released last year, 2024. I think it was 2025. Another example of YouTubers creating movies. Both movies were extreme hits. Talk to Me a little bit more, but Bring Her Back still did good money. Now, those aren't the only YouTubers who've made films. Those are just the ones that I think of on the top of my head, the first ones I think of, but there have been way more. They're really good examples, especially Markiplier and the, Philippou brothers. Again, sorry if I mispronounced your name. Stuckman is sort of an outlier here, mainly because the route he did. Now, hear me out. So, all these, all three of these, people, let's just say, created movies outside of Hollywood. Markiplier and the Philippou brothers did it through pure passion. They just had an idea and they went for it. Stuckman, it seems, I could be wrong, but from an outsider looking in, it just seems that he's trying to appeal to Hollywood. You see it in his videos, how he's reviewing, kind of whole setup has changed. He doesn't criticize movies, anymore, blah, blah, whatever. It seems he's trying to appeal to them, which, on one hand, I understand, but on the other hand, if you want to, push, people doing it themselves, why not just do it yourselves? Going to Hollywood, aka, the source, that still reinforces Hollywood, we're number one, see, they're still coming to us, we still got it, we're still the most important. Whereas Markiplier, for instance, did it entirely on his own. He self-funded the $3 million, put it out on his own, distributed it himself, and I think he said he's doing a Blu-ray by himself as well, which I hope he does. I can't wait to buy it. That's the difference, it seems, to me anyway. I could be wrong. Maybe you guys disagree, but that's just my opinion. I just think we don't have to go to Hollywood anymore. We can completely cut them out completely. You can cut the middleman out. I know, yes, it will be harder, but if we really want to, like, I guess not enjoy, but bring this creative renaissance, this creative independent renaissance back that we're currently in this era, we don't need to go to Hollywood. Like, we shouldn't do that. Like, that just reinforces the old guard. We need to do it ourselves. And it's not just films that this is happening to. It's happening with comics. We just had, I was going to say recently, but a few years ago, we had like the whole Rippaverse, created by Eric July. He created this whole like comic universe itself, which he funded entirely through Kickstarter. And now, just a couple of days ago, he got a shout out on Joe Rogan.
There's a guy named Eric July who has this whole kind of empire. He did a Kickstarter. He made like $1 million for his first one. It's called the Rippaverse. And now they're at a point where you don't have to go through DC or Marvel to produce your product. So
you know how big you gotta be for someone like Joe Rogan to shout you out? That's so fucking awesome, man. Congrats, Eric. That's awesome. Razorfist is another good example of a YouTuber who created a graphic novel with his graphic novel Ghost of the Badlands. Again, a YouTuber making it himself without the traditional comic industry. The next point I want to make is how creating something you want to make, whether it be a movie or a comic, is going to get a little bit easier due to the invention of AI. I know that AI being used for creative works is a very, hot button, touchy subject now, but like I said in my last video, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. You can bitch, you can moan. It's here to stay. You can't change it. We have to learn how to deal with it. It is what it is. Matthew McConaughey came out a few days ago and basically said the same thing, that hey, it's here to stay. Do what you gotta do to protect yourself, but it's here. Now, not to harp on the same points people have made, yes, AI still cannot, put together a cohesive story like a plot, storyline, dialogue scenes, yet. It will eventually, I do believe. Like, give it a few years, it will get there. It can do some movement, action scenes pretty well. I've seen someone like, oh, that's pretty good. So, it's got that almost dialed in. Maybe give it, like I said, a few more years, but the dialogue scenes need work. But again, it will get there eventually. The main point is, AI is going to be a tool. That's the key word. It's a tool. You can choose to use it or not. Let's say, for example, someone wants to make a movie and it has like a, a CGI action scene, let's just say, for whatever reason. It could be a monster, whatever. They can write the dialogue scenes, get real actors, film those scenes, blah, blah, but he needs special effects, but they can't do it because like they're low budget, they don't have any resources, they don't have connections, whatever. They can sit there and be like, oh man, what are we going to do? It used to be you have to go to Hollywood, find the special effects. Maybe you can find someone outside the industry, maybe, but again, might be expensive. But nowadays with AI, they can fill in those CGI fight gaps with the AI. Yeah, sure, it might take a while. You gotta buy some expensive RAM to run it, but you can do it. Am I saying this is good or I'm glad special effects people are out of business? No, it's neither good or bad. AI is here. It is what it is. It's a tool. Creators can use it or they can choose not to. It's totally up to the individual creator. The main point I want to drill into people's head is now with AI, creative people now have a chance to finally get their creative visions out there and to garner a fan base or collective, whatever they want to call it. They now have the chance with AI. The last thing I want to talk about isn't really like a big main subject like the last couple points. It's really just kind of an ending statement, and that is, if Hollywood's not going to basically keep AI in check, so to speak, then it needs to start listening to what the audience wants. For far too long, Hollywood has ignored the audience for their biggest IPs because, oh, we're Hollywood, we know better than those toxic fans. Case in point with Star Wars. I won't talk about it here, I won't go into detail, because we all know the story. Disney bought Star Wars, one of the biggest film franchise, if not the biggest film franchise in history, hoping that it was going to be a goldmine, make billions. They made new movies, they shit all over the old characters in trilogy, made new characters no one cares about. And now, years later, we have a Star Wars movie coming out in 2 months about? The first Star Wars movie in theaters in 7 years, and nobody seemed to give a shit about it. Not fans, not the general audience, nobody I see gives a shit about The Mandalorian and Grogu. How sad is that? Really? And it's not just Star Wars, it's literally every single biggest IP in Hollywood. Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, kind of. I know Night of the Seven Kingdoms is good, but House of a Dragon is teetering on it. They're all becoming trash. You want to know why people are, creating AI fan films and shorts and, rewriting TV show endings like Stranger Things or Game of Thrones? I mean, sure, it's fun on one hand, but the main reason is Hollywood didn't give the audience what they wanted, so now with AI, they can do it themselves. Like, it's not that hard, people. It's that simple. Hollywood didn't give the audience what they wanted, so now they have a chance to make what they want. That's it. There's multiple AI fan films out there. Let's take Star Wars, for example. I just found one the other day, and it kind of blew my mind. I didn't know this one existed until the YouTuber Mr. H Reviews talked about it, which, awesome channel. Go watch him. And I'll bring it up here. Like I said, it's a fan film some dude made probably just in his bedroom. Let's see, where is it? Oh, here we go. So the channel is called Star Wars Lost Legends, and it was published a month ago. Okay, and the video's titled "Star Wars Beggar's Canyon," a Luke Skywalker fan film in parentheses set between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And people, go watch this fan film. It's pretty good. It still has parts where you can tell, like, wait, that doesn't look about right. It still needs work, but for, again, someone who just probably made this from their bedroom, this is pretty good. Like, let's pull up a screenshot real quick. Like, look at this, like, screenshot of Mark Hamill, of the AI generated Mark Hamill from the shot. Like, look at that. Like, tell me it does not look exactly like Luke Skywalker. That looks good, right? I'm not crazy, right? That looks very good. Hollywood needs to realize that with technology now and the internet, mainly AI, they're not the only players in the sandbox anymore. Sure, they're the most dominant, the most, well-known, but again, as the case in everything,
there's always a bigger fish.
See what I did there? Star Wars, Star Wars reference. I just did a Star Wars point. I'm so funny. Let's get back to the video. We're still years away from YouTubers and kind of everyday normal people creating works that will one day rival, big, Hollywood blockbuster, or just films in general. But one day, the two will clash. It's coming. It's the classic, the unstoppable force meets the immovable object analogy. And that's exactly what we're experiencing. Hollywood on one side, creative people, outside the industry on the other side. They will clash eventually, like I said. Creative people now have the resources, mainly with the internet and all the doors it's open, to bring their creative works to life finally. Sure, it may be hard, do it yourself in some regards, it will be harder, but it will be more rewarding, I do think, in the end. We've seen far too many examples, like the ones mentioned in this video, other topics you can look up. We've seen far too many examples for this whole, independent creative movement to just end. More and more people are going to come to the idea, wait, I can do it myself. I don't need to get permission from, the Hollywood studio or the comic industry or a TV show, whatever it is. I can do it myself. Oh, that's the main point. Look at Markiplier. Made a movie for $3 million and got almost $50 million in return. You're telling me some, rich dude out there or someone who won the lottery is looking at that thinking wait a minute, that YouTuber made a movie for $3 million and got that much return? Did it all himself? Well, I can do that. I got some ideas. I got the money. I can do that. Yeah, I'm gonna try that. Or maybe it's a group of people coming together to do something. Well, that's another option. That's the main point I want to end it on. Creative people don't need to ask permission anymore. It used to be you have to, not anymore. With the internet, with technology, they now have the power. They can do it themselves.